Generals, Mr. Morrison back with you, talking this week about mental health awareness. That's the theme for this month, and of course this week we're talking about it here at Shafter High, but it's a message for more than just us. I'm talking to you students here, you teachers here, all our family here, but it's for a much broader audience, so feel free to share, let people know that people care about them. That's what we're here to do. So I'm standing out here on the baseball field on campus, and I'm missing my sports. That's one of the things that this COVID-19 mess has really got to me. Sports is my stress reliever. I look kind of good out here, Coach Fulse. If I wasn't coaching swim in the springs, maybe I could hold a clipboard for you here in the dugout. That'd be kind of fun. So today we're going to talk about how to reach out. When I spoke to you last, we talked about some of the signs, some of the feelings, and the general things going on with mental health and the struggles that we have. And today I want to share a story, a continuation of my story about reaching out, and how I know it can be difficult, but you'd be surprised what people will do to care for you. And my story goes like this. So I told you yesterday about how the military had put me into a tough place mentally, to the point where I envisioned myself hanging from a flagpole. It's tough to say, but I had that vision, and a lot of us go through feelings like that. And it wasn't the last time, unfortunately. So after I came out of the military, I was still in the National Guard, and I got called away on occasion for that. So I was out on an exercise, a deployment exercise with my unit, having a particularly hard day for things that were not my fault, but were blamed on me. Welcome to the military. But I had gone into that exercise already in a bad place. And there was a night in the barracks during this exercise where I stood in the showers, looking up at the water pipes in the ceiling, and much like I had at the flagpole, trying to decide if they would hold my weight. I knew that I had a reel of paracord in my pack back at my bunk. Paracord will hold me. I know that for a fact. And so I had these thoughts, and I started thinking about doing that, and it scared me. I ran out of the shower. Not a pretty sight, don't worry about that. But I couldn't stay there, and I couldn't sleep. I went the whole night not sleeping, not knowing what to do, but the next morning, my buddy and I were walking to do our shift, and I told him what my thoughts were. Now, I was afraid of what people would think. I mean, especially there, we're in the military. You're supposed to be tough, you're supposed to be macho, you're supposed to be the example of what a man is supposed to be. Don't fall for that. So I talked to my buddy. I told him what I thought. I was afraid he was going to judge me. Every group has that person who is unfiltered, is a jokester, sarcastic, cynical. This is him, my buddy named Riley. And so I knew that he was going to say something that was just going to confirm for me that I'm not worth it. He didn't. He calmly said, I understand. We're going to go see our boss right now. We're not going to do our work. We're going to talk to him. We're going to figure out what's the best course of action from here. And that day I spent in the hands of my military family, who put all other goals aside. It was just training, so they were able to do that. But they took care of me. They got me on a flight home. They got me connected to multiple counselors. I had a great military counselor and a civilian counselor who helped me talk through things. And that is so important, to have someone who knows how to listen. Because most of my issues, a lot of my problems, I was able to talk through just listening to myself, like thinking, oh man, I don't need to think that way. There's plenty of evidence that shows I'm not like that I'm worth something. Just by listening to myself talk, but having someone who's trained, who knows how to listen to you, is so important. So I was able to overcome my fear. I spent that whole night before I talked to Riley deciding, what am I going to do? can I talk to somebody? Is it worth it, or am I done? But the strength of my faith, the strength of me knowing that I had a wife and children who love me and want me to be okay, that got me to move forward and tell somebody. Had I not done that, I don't know where I would be today, or if I would be today. And that's hard to talk about. And that's one of the things that makes reaching out hard. We're afraid of what people are going to think. We're afraid of being judged. We're afraid of being considered weird. And that's one thing I want to get rid of for us. There's a stigma with mental health and what people call mental illness. I don't even like that term because it's a struggle. But there's a stigma that people think you're weird. People think, oh man, there's something wrong with that guy. And so we're afraid to talk to people. A lot of the people who think that don't realize they probably have some of the same issues. So I'm here today to say, look, it doesn't matter what people think of you. That's one thing, but also you're not going to find the right people to help you if you don't reach out. We consider ourselves weak sometimes if we decide we need help, but I'll tell you this, and I really believe this. One of the hardest things you can do, one of the greatest acts of strength you can accomplish, is to admit where you're weak and admit where you need somebody else to help you. That is seriously one of the strongest decisions you can make. So when you make that decision, that's your show of strength. That's the first step to getting back to where you want to be. And you can do that. So we talked yesterday about some of the signs of when you're in that place and how to know when something's wrong and you need help. I encourage you to watch that video if you haven't. We talked today about reaching out. I know it's difficult, but it's an incredibly strong move to do. And that will reflect on you greatly. And you have it in you. We all have it in us. The world tells us we don't, and then our mind tells us we don't. I'm telling you, you do. You have it in there. Reach out. So look for someone to talk to. If not a family member or a friend, look me up. My email is on the Shafter High website. We have lots of great people here to talk with you, who are trained to talk with you and get you the resources you need. You're not alone. I said it yesterday that you are not broken beyond fixable. You are not broken beyond lovable. Both of those things are still there for you, and I want to get you there. Okay, so we go through this together. That's my promise to you, but you got to reach out. Let us know. Let somebody know. And if you're not feeling this, but you see somebody who's down, help them reach out. Tell them it's okay. Deal? All right. I'm going to let you guys go. Mr. Morrison checking out here again. I'm going to talk with you one more time coming up about some of the great things ahead once you do reach out, the successes and the love that you can have from others and for yourself, which is huge. So come back again. We'll talk again. Do not hesitate to reach out. So important. You can do it. I have faith in you. So I want you to have faith in you too. All right. We'll check back in later. See ya.